Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we are tackling one of the biggest questions out there. In a world that's getting more and more powered by AI, what's our human edge? What makes us essential? Well, the answer isn't about trying to compete with machines head-on. It's about mastering the one thing they just can't do, our incredible capacity for learning and growth. So let's dive in and see what that really looks like.
So, here's what we're going to cover in this explainer. First, we'll look at the human skills that are absolutely critical right now. Then, we're going to dig into the pretty surprising reason why AI actually needs you. After that, we'll get practical and look at a timeline for upskilling, and we'll unpack the core skill behind it all, learning agility. And to finish up, I'll leave you with two really powerful frameworks you can start using pretty much immediately. Okay, first up, human skills in an AI world. This is really our foundation. It's not about being faster or smarter than an algorithm. Nope, it's all about developing the skills that work with technology, the skills that keep us firmly in the driver's seat. Okay, so take a look at this. This slide maps out a bunch of key human-centric skills. You'll see things you'd probably expect, right? Like problem solving and emotional intelligence up in those top quadrants. But what I really want you to focus on is down in the bottom left, learning and growth. The source material points to this as the absolute bedrock skill. You can think of it as the engine for your curiosity and your ability to adapt. And those are the exact traits that make you an amazing partner to AI, not its competition.
And that's the crucial point here, This isn't some race against technology. It's a partnership. Learning all the time lets you go deeper in your own field, but it also gives you that spark to explore totally new areas of knowledge. You bring the curiosity, you bring the context, and AI brings the raw computing power. It's a perfect match. Which brings us right to our next big idea. We get that we need to adapt to AI, but why on earth does AI need us? Well, it all comes down to the power of a balanced human perspective.
You have got to see this research from Harvard. It's fascinating. So on the left, you see how we usually operate. Without AI, we tend to stay in our own lane, right? Marketing folks come up with marketing solutions. Engineers come up with engineering solutions. But look at what happened on the right. When you pair individuals with AI, something pretty incredible happens. They started coming up with these really balanced, innovative solutions, the kind of thinking you'd normally only get from a whole team of people with different backgrounds.
And this quote just nails it. Kareem Lakanahi, who was leading the research, he called it a big moment. And it really is. It's solid proof that a curious human mind, when it's supercharged by the right tech, can solve problems in a way that's so much bigger than the sum of its parts.
So, okay, we know why this is also important, but the big practical question is how long does this stuff actually take? Let's turn this from a big idea into something you can actually get your hands on with the upskilling timeline.
248. Now, before I tell you what that number means, just let it hang there for a second. In the world of learning and AI, what do you think that could possibly be?
So that number, 248, is the average number of days the World Economic Forum figures it takes to upskill in curiosity and lifelong learning. And if you look at the chart, you can see how it stacks up against other skills. Now, yeah, it's a real commitment, but it's not some endless, vague journey. It is a measurable, achievable goal. And when you frame it like that, suddenly upskilling feels a lot less scary and a lot more like a project you can actually plan for.
So how do we actually do the work? What's the engine that's going to drive this whole upskilling journey? Well, it all comes down to one core concept: learning agility. Let's break down what that really means.
To put it simply, learning agility is your ability to learn on the fly. It's about turning every single experience you have, the good, the bad, the totally unexpected, into a lesson. And then, the key part, quickly using those new insights in your day-to-day work.
And the best part is that this is a skill you can totally build, and it follows this clear four-step process. First, you have to actively go out and seek feedback. Don't just wait for that once-a-year review. Then, you ask yourself some tough, reflective questions. After that, you find experts to challenge your own ideas. And finally, you close the loop by really taking a moment to think about what you learned from all of it.
And speaking of those reflective questions, these two are just incredibly powerful. After any project or big task, instead of just rushing to the next thing, ask yourself, what's one thing I could do to change the outcome? That's all about taking ownership. And then the critical follow-up. What will I do differently in the future? See? That turns a passive thought into a real concrete action plan for next time.
All right, for our final section, we're shifting from theory into practice. I want to give you your own personal toolkit for action with two super simple but really powerful frameworks for growth.
The source material gives us two really great models for this. The first one helps you figure out what to learn, And the second one helps you change that little voice in your head to actually become a better learner. Let's check out the first one.
So framework number 1 is this simple little 2x2 grid. It helps you decide where to focus your energy because, let's be honest, our time is limited. If a new skill is super useful and doesn't take much time to learn, that's the top left box. Just learn it right away. If it's really useful but takes more time, that's the top right. Well, then you need to actually schedule time for it. This simple little grid helps you make smart choices instead of just feeling completely overwhelmed.
And finally, framework 2 is all about your mindset. Sometimes the biggest thing holding us back from learning is our own self-talk. So instead of thinking, I'm already fine at this, which kind of shuts the door on getting better, try asking a more objective question, like, how do I actually compare with my peers? Or instead of just dismissing something with, ugh, this is boring, get curious. Ask, I wonder why other people find this so useful. Just by shifting from a statement to a question, you unlock your own natural curiosity. It's a great little life hack.
So, at the end of the day, learning isn't about outrunning AI. It's about running right alongside it and being amplified by its power. We've talked about the why, we've covered the timeline, and now you've got the tools to make it happen. So really, the only question left is the one right here on the screen. Now that you have the tools, what's the very first step you're going to take to own your learning and growth?